The suspected Gilgo beach killer remains behind bars, and now we're learning about the extreme measures being taken to protect him at the Suffolk County Jail. You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. The Sheriff's Department says it has 3 goals while Rex Heuermann is in their custody. Newsday TV's Sherry Einhorn, investigative reporter Sandra Petty brings us a story you'll see only in Newsday.
Accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann is being housed in an undisclosed special unit at the Suffolk County Jail, where he will remain in the custody of the Sheriff's Department while his case makes its way through the legal system. There are special precautions being taken to protect him. Additional personnel have been assigned to the unit, but only authorized personnel have been given access. Newsday investigative reporter Sandra Petty says the Sheriff's Department has 3 key goals with Heuermann: to maintain care, custody, and control.
He is being videotaped and watched 24 hours a day, and whenever they move him from one part of the jail to another, all movement in the jail stops. That means all movement of other inmates stop. And they're not only screening his visitors, they're screening the visitors who might be coming at the same time as his visitors.
That seems like a lot of extra layers. Is that unusual for an inmate at the jail?
It is unusual for an inmate at the jail.
Sheriff Errol Toulon, who sat down with Newsday several days after the arrest, worked in New York City when mob boss John Gotti and subway shooter Bernard Goetz were inmates.
You know, I'm up thinking about every scenario I've dealt with over the last 40 years with inmates who have a really high profile.
Even before Heuermann's arrest, the Sheriff's Department was using resources from its sex trafficking unit to aid in the investigation, which began 13 years ago. They've been pouring through a database of about 300 victims while showing Heuermann's picture to see if anyone came into contact with the 59-year-old Massapequa Park architect.
And we actually had come across 2 females that he had contacted by phone, spoke to them, but he never met them.
I'm Sherry Einhorn for Newsday TV.
Now check this out. Newsday shot this exclusive video from the Suffolk County Crime Lab in Hauppauge this morning. Heuermann's Chevy Avalanche is under the tarp you see there. Now, it was seized in South Carolina and towed to the island where authorities will be searching it for more evidence. And just into the newsroom, Newsday has learned that Heuermann's wife has filed for divorce. Her attorney confirmed the papers were filed today. Now, Newsday's team of journalists is working around the clock to bring you the very latest on the Gilgo investigation. To read more, just click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. And Long Island commuters will be paying more for their ride by the end of the summer. That's because the MTA just approved a new round of fare and toll hikes. Newsday TV's transportation reporter Alfonso Castillo explains how much.
It's official. You'll pay more for your Long Island Railroad ticket by the end of this summer. And here in Hicksville and throughout the entire Long Island Railroad system, riders are none too happy about that.
I think it's just a little selfish, you know. A lot of people take the train, and it's a ride to work. I would say that it's gonna definitely have a big impact, mostly on the minor community, on the people that don't drive, on the people that get to work in the morning.
It hurts my feelings because the commute, you know, from Jamaica, Queens all the way to Long Island is a lot. So if they're bringing the price up, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, I don't want to work out here anymore.
It's already $242, and it's just insane for a monthly pass. I just think everything's going up in price, should just stay the same.
It's not all bad news. The new fare plan includes new discount programs, including for travel within New York City on the Long Island Railroad. And because the railroad discounted tickets last year by 10% to lure back riders that they lost to COVID, a monthly pass will still be cheaper than it was in 2019. Alfonso Castillo for Newsday TV.
He lost his legs in a deadly wrong-way drunk driving crash, and now the former firefighter is losing his freedom. Newsday TV's Steve Langford was in court as the firefighter was sentenced for the accident that killed a beloved teacher.
Let me say a few things.
Judge Stephen Braslow addressing a packed Suffolk County courtroom, but in particular, ex-New York City firefighter Joseph Norris of Babylon, who the judge is about to sentence to prison for the wrong-way DWI crash that killed school teacher Anthony Mariano.
You have an honorable profession. You were a firefighter. You gave your life to help people, to save people. But yet, it appears that all your actions were involving alcohol and parties and going out.
Norris, his hands shaking through some of the court session in which the victim's family members spoke of the horror of learning on the evening of November 20th, 2020, that Mariano died when Norris drove the wrong way on the Sunken Meadow Parkway with almost 3 times the legal alcohol limit in his system. Mariano's mother telling the defendant, "You literally broke my heart." The victim's fiancé saying her wedding dress still hangs in the closet.
For you to be going the wrong way for 3.5 miles or 4 miles, and people trying to stop you, State Trooper almost got to you. They almost got to you before you killed this gentle soul.
The judge telling Norris he's been grieving along with the Mariano family since he first got the case 2.5 years ago.
I have empathy and sympathy for your family. Not much for you, Mr. Norris. I'm sorry to tell you.
And just before handing down the sentence, Judge Braslow delivered some pointed advice to Joseph Norris.
You need to do some things in your life to make amends for this. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you really need to search your soul.
The judge sentencing Norris to between 5 and 15 years for aggravated vehicular homicide and manslaughter, explaining a plea deal was reached in order to spare the victim's family the trauma of a trial.
Obviously, I would have liked the max, 8 to 25, but this is fine. He's point across, and yes, I think Anthony would be proud of his family and the way that everyone spoke of him today.
Joseph Norris spoke briefly in court, saying at least twice, "Forgive me," and adding, "If I could trade places with Anthony Mariano, I would." Mariano's father got up at that point and left the courtroom, saying, "I can't listen to this." Steve Langford for NewsdayTV.
Donald Trump's bid for a new trial has been rejected. His appeal to reduce a $5 million jury verdict was also shot down. Now, this is in the civil case where Trump was accused of raping a writer in a dressing room in the 90s. The judge said the jury's award to E. Jean Carroll was reasonable. And a judge has eased travel restrictions for indicted Congressman George Santos. He's now allowed to move freely around a 30-mile radius of Washington, D.C. Santos is, of course, out on $500,000 bail after being charged with wire fraud and money laundering. And a medical mall has opened at a former Sears store in Lake Grove. Stony Brook Medicine's new center offers family, preventative, and internal medical care. This is the first of several phases. The next phase will include orthopedics, gynecology, and more. The facility will expand to the size of about 3 football fields when it's complete. And people are being told to stay out of the water at more than 20 Long Island beaches. Health Department officials say stormwater runoff can increase bacteria levels. The advisory is in effect until at least Thursday morning. For the full list of beaches affected, head over to Newsday.com. All right, let's take a look at your Long Island weather, shall we? You can see tonight we have partly cloudy skies with maybe some thunderstorms. And tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. Taking a better look at tomorrow, you can see it's a mixed bag of clouds and sun and temps in the 80s.
Long Island weather is brought to you by King O'Rourke Automotive Group.
Adam Pascal, one of the original stars of Rent, is bringing the show to a Long Island stage. Lisa DiStefano has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
I think I could speak for all of your fans. So happy to have you home and bringing Rent back to Long Island.
Thank you. It's so nice to be home, and it's so nice to be bringing Rent back.
Syosset native Adam Pascal is back home to direct the musical that made him a Broadway star. The original Roger in Rent is collaborating on From Stage to Screen's summer production of the show.
And it's just been the most wonderful experience so far. And I've been gone from New York for so long too, so to be back. I've wanted to direct it just because I'm so intimately familiar with it. It seemed like such a logical thing for me to do. The opportunity to do it here on Long Island, again, it was so fortuitous in the way that it came about. Was like the stars just lined up so well. All right, everybody quiet. Here we go.
Adam has been involved in the entire production process and is currently in rehearsals at the Huntington studio.
I've never been on that side of the casting table before, and so it was amazing. I enjoyed it so much. I was so blown away by just people's desire to want to do this. You know what I mean? And we got so many submissions. Some of them have seen the movie, sure, but yes, there's some 18-year-olds, there's some 20-year-olds. They were definitely not born. Yeah.
Another time, another place, our temperatures would climb. There'd be a warm embrace.
Does it bring you back watching these actors go through the process?
Yeah, sure. Of course, the process is different now. You know what I mean? Because now the show exists. I'm trying to give them an experience of a little bit of what it was like for us to learn the show. Once the cast came together and was assembled on the first day of rehearsal, I had them all learn Seasons of Love because that's what we did, you know, and that really helped galvanize us as a group, and I think it did the same thing for them. It's the show that keeps on giving, you know, and now it's giving in a different way, so I don't miss performing in it, and it's still so in my life, so.
Sure is. Yeah. How many years later?
28.
28 years later.
Yeah.
For Newsday TV, Elisa DiStefano.
And they sound pretty good, too. Now, to read more about Rent on Long Island, go to Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. A new grassroots group is helping new moms. It's called Mamas and Minis, and it's a story you'll see only in Newsday.
Mamas and Minis was a concept that came to me when I was in the thick of postpartum with my first son. I was suffering postpartum depression, and it was just lonely, and I felt alone. I didn't know a lot of other moms, so I kind of decided on a whim that I was going to ask people to come walk with me and try to meet some moms that way.
It's something that we've created, and we're helping other moms get out of their shell, but also my daughter is getting to live it right along with us. So we come to a farm Friday, she gets to experience the farm. We have a soft play event with a bounce house and snacks. She gets to enjoy that also.
Every meetup, you get together in a circle, you say your name, where you're from, you introduce your kid, and it's just a way for everyone to get comfortable.
Even though it's so hard to have a conversation with toddlers, but you get to bounce ideas off each other. You get to share what you're doing, or the next step, what you're looking forward to with people with older ones.
The most rewarding part of Mamas and Minis for me has been to hear the feedback from other moms and get text messages and phone calls and have people pull me to the side and just let them know that we've literally changed their life, that they were suffering alone in silence, and now they feel like they could come find people that are experiencing the same things and they don't feel alone. And that to me means everything, because I know what that feels like, and it's terrible. And to know that we could change that for someone else or for thousands of other people just really, it means the world to me.
Moms helping moms. You love to see it. Now, to read more about Mamas and Minis, go to Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Watch Newsday TV on the big screen. Use the remote to activate Siri, Alexa, Roku, or the Google Assistant on your streaming device. Say, install Newsday. Newsday TV, covering Long Island like no one else can.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Buffer. Thank you so much for joining us. We leave you now with a look at your 7-day forecast.